will prosper. It should prosper. So when we have deep conversations about this, sometimes difficult and frank ones, is still about the soul of this nation. Many things are happening, especially at the Haluk chambers right there at the red seats in Abuja, the Senate, where it's not about, making laws as it appears in the last 1 week, especially yesterday. It's been, whatever they're doing there has been overshadowed by that accusation and counter-accusation, sexual harassment against the person of Godswill Akpabio, the Senate president, by one of the senators, the senator representing Kogi Central, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, where she accused the Senate president of making sexual advances at her in the past, and because she didn't give in, the Senate president has been, maligning her, being mean to her, not giving her free space to do the business of the Senate, in which she was voted for by the people. And say, what happened in Akwa Ibom, during the birthday of the Mr. Senate president, while they were having a tour of his house, and what she whispered into our ears, and she didn't give in. That is why she has been treating her like that on the floor of the Senate. And she said even after that, she had tried to put, some of her things that she wanted to talk about in the business of the day, but she has been rejected. And, they spoke to a couple of senators. They told her to go and see the Senate president. And when she got there, the Senate president told her, I am the man here. I'm the man in charge here. If you cooperate with me, if you take care of me, I take care of you, you will have it smooth. Those are the allegations made by Senator Natasha Akpoti. And then, there was a response from the media office of Mr. Senate President, and Miss Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan said it was maligning. She sued, the Senate President and the media aide for issuing such a statement, according to her, for 10 billion naira. And, the wife of the Senate President, Ms. Uloma Akpabio, sued Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan for, causing she and her family distress with the accusation of their, their leader, their father and her husband, with the allegation. And it's been like that. Yesterday, the drama continued. The drama it was when the business of the day was going on, and she raised her hand, using the order, you shall hear my voice. By the way, what brought all these in recent times was the arrangement of the seat. And she was reassigned another seat, and she refused the seat, and she wanted to say something at the house. They refused that because she was not properly seated, and that was how she started that, it was a shouting match on the day, and then she went to a TV station to make the accusation. And fast forward to yesterday, she raised her hand again, and she was entertained, and she submitted a petition to say, 2 days ago rather, submitted a petition to say this is what it is. I think it was yesterday, pardon me. This is what is going on. I've been told that she knows that, possibly there are internal mechanisms. I'm submitting a petition. The petition was taken by the Senate president, but the leaders of the Senate said, no, this didn't follow the due process. If you're bringing a petition, you can't bring a petition by yourself and sign it by yourself. Somebody, should do that on your behalf. You have contravened the order of the House. There are rules and conventions of this House. So I think the leaders, intervened. The Senate president spoke. The Senate leader, Kwame Bamidele, spoke. I think the chief whip and the other persons. This is not the way to go. So you have flouted another rule of the House. She was referred to the Ethics Committee. She got a court order to say she wouldn't, to restrain the Ethics and Privileges Committee from inviting her. It's a law. That is where we are right now. And many persons are pointing at the Senate president to say you can't be on that, and adjudicate matters. But the Senate spokesman, Yemi Adaramudu, said he's not adjudicating the matter. a petition has been submitted, even wrongly submitted, you can't just expect the Senate President to step down. Many persons are pointing at her to say, please step down. You can't still be sitting there. They are not saying you should resign. Step off, let other presiding officers take charge. Before we go to the papers, expectedly, there have been rallies in support and against, the key principal characters here. Talk about the Senate President, Natasha Akpabio. There was a pro-Natasha rally that was dispersed at some point. Our pro-Akpabio rally to say we are for Akpabio. Natasha, go and sit down. And there are women as well who are speaking for Natasha to say, no, this is against the women fold. We'll wait to see. If time permits us, trust us. Incidentally, this is a month, that has been given to women, International Women's Month. And by Saturday, it will be the International Women's Day. This is what we are having at this time. But then we'll go to the papers right now. And before we go to the papers, I dare say, go on our YouTube page, drop your comments here. We might just, read it for you to let us know what you feel and what your opinions are about this Natasha Akpabio versus Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and the manner in which the accusation have come, the manner it has been handled by the Senate President, the manner it has been handled by the Senate themselves as a house, the 10th Assembly of the Senate. Take this break. When we return, the program will continue. Right, let's start the newspaper segment from the Daily Trust, newspaper. Incidentally, the Daily Trust has almost everything I've just said. Alleged sexual harassment. Senate dismisses Natasha's petition against Akpabio. Alleged sexual harassment. Senate dismisses Natasha's petition against Akpabio. And all right, you can see what I said earlier. The Akpabio must go rally in support of Senator Natasha Akpoti, and you have Akpabio treated Natasha as a daughter and friend. These are some of the captions or placards carried. Another placard read, or banner rather, United Women for Good Governance call on Senator Natasha Akpoti to apologize to the Senate and the Senate President and Nigerian women. Interesting. So you have the pro-Natasha protesters on one side, and then the pro-Akpabio. And by the way, automatically, a pro-Natasha is an anti-Akpabio protest. A pro-Akpabio protest is an anti-Natasha protest. That's just the way it is. So why some are saying Akpabio must go, another rally. And by the way, incidentally as it is, when you look through, all of them are women. Women. The pro, the anti, the pro, all of them are women. And in one of the placards, it is written, call on Senator Akpoti Uduaghan to apologize to the Senate President and Nigerian women. Interesting take there. And just like I said, this is Women's Month. So now, below that, after Supreme Court judgment, Rivers to hold fresh election, fresh LG polls August 9. Rivers to hold fresh LG polls August 9. Interesting one right there at the treasure base of the nation. Now, dismissed immigration officer nabbed over attempt to sell arms to bandits. Dismissed immigration officer nabbed over attempt to sell arms to bandits, and woman accused of killing co-wife in Bauchi. That's extreme. Woman accused of killing co-wife in Bauchi. And subscription hike. Commission sues multi-choice. Commission sues more teachers. It is a lot, especially at this time. And almost everything is about hike, hike, and hike. Interesting. All right. And MultiChoice are, cable service provider. They've rolled out their increase and the tariff as well. Moving on. Funtua battles TY Danjuma, others over 9 Mobile. Funtua battles TY Danjuma, others over 9 Mobile. You're talking about business here belonging to the big wigs. Now, security beefed up at hotel where ex-CJ Paradang was found dead. Security beefed up at a hotel. At a hotel where ex-Controller General Paradang was found dead. You remember this story where, in fact, newspapers had it to be a case of kidnapping. I think we read it here. And then there were now revelations or other angles to that story that shows that maybe it was not a case of kidnapping. Maybe it was a case of a man checking into a hotel and dying there. But then investigations are on. And then we're being told this morning that security has been beefed up at the hotel where the ex-CJ Paradang was found dead. And beside that, we have hippo attacks. Hippo attacks. Daily Trust has that still Gombe farmers keep vigil on farms. Hippo, that's hippopotamus, hippo attacks. And Gombe farmers keep vigil on farms. That's, you would think that is what you see or watching movies, but it appears is real in Gombe State, where the farmers have been attacked and they are now keeping vigil on farms. Okay, we hope there will be interventions, by the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Environment, the Ministry in charge of wildlife, to see to this that while we are trying to, conserve these, exclusive and special species of animals, we don't lose lives and properties to the attack as well, because this is happening in Gombe State. And we move away from the Daily Trust this morning. Let's check what the Punch has for us. The Punch newspaper. First Bank HQ groundbreaking ceremony. You have so many persons there, led by the Vice President Kashim Shettima. Flanked by, on his right side, you have some governors and deputy governors that are Jide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, and then next to him you see the newly, sworn-in governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, deputy governor of Lagos State, Obafemi Hamzat, traditional rulers, ministers, this, and then far right, you see Hadiza Usman Bala, that more like the class captain of the cabinet ministers, because she's the woman in charge of seeing the performance of ministers. And so many will see her as a class captain. Whatever the ministers are doing, she has that desk to review. And then, there you have the business moguls as well. Aliko Dangote, Femi Otedola, many of them former Senate President Bukola Saraki, and many illustrious, men and women there at the groundbreaking of that event of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, bottom strip. Sexual harassment. Senate dismisses Natasha's petition. Kogi Senator Sean's panel. And I said it earlier. She was, 2 days ago, she was referred to the Ethics and Privileges Committee of the House that sees such things and what has played out so far. But then she got a court order restraining that committee from inviting her. Yesterday the committee sat and they said they were expecting her. And when I asked, the Senate spokesman Yemi Adaramodu said every organization, including the Senate, the institutions of the government, have rules, binding them. And this is the internal mechanism of the House. And whatever they do in that House is not actionable, by the court, because it's the business of the Senate. And what the Ethics and Privileges Commission are doing is the business of the Senate. So there are separations of power. And they say she was supposed to appear at that panel yesterday, but then she went and got a court order restraining that committee from inviting her. The issue here is what takes precedence in all of this as well. And many persons have been saying maybe Natasha Akpoti feels judged already in the manner in which many persons have come at her, with that allegation. In fact, a member of the Senate yesterday from Ekiti State stood up and said that she has a history of accusing people. That was how she accused her state governor at the time, John Kawode Fayemi, of selling the Ajakuta Steel Company, and that appears to be a lie because still now Ajakuta Steel Company is there and is the property of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that senator had to say, so using his word, I am coming with a petition, against that. Many persons were wondering, including myself, you have a petition against Natasha, and you had to raise your hand in the House to say whatever you want to say, make the accusation, and now say, I am coming with a petition. Who does that? When you have a petition, be ready with your petition. And when your petition is ready, lay it out. That's where it should be. But just because you want to counter what the lady has said and, to show that this is who this lady is. And by the way, I'm not speaking for or against anybody because in this case, proper investigation has to be done. Just because you want to talk, these are the issues as well. You have to say, oh, I have a petition. And you took like 2-3 minutes and they told the same House, I'm coming with that petition against this person. Sometimes you just wonder, like, we're really serious there. A full-grown man, you are trying to accuse somebody and you are not ready with a petition, but you just want to be heard to, make it known that this woman that you're talking about has a history of accusing people. By the way, your accusation and your petition is not with you. That is as easy as that. But then Nigerians are waiting to see, not because of Natasha, not because of Akpabio, but because of the institution of the state that has been brought under this terrible lie. The Senate spokesman was asked, Senator Yemi Adaramodu yesterday, how the image of the Senate will be repaired. The man maintained that it's just a storm in the teacup and it means nothing. Many Nigerians will disagree with him to say, we are not sure we are seeing the same thing. If the Senate spokesman has said, more grievous things have happened and been allayed in the past as accusation, and the Senate, have dealt with it, they will deal with this one as well. I just will say, this is not about you dealing with this. It is following the right thing, and all of you should be embarrassed with what is happening right now. If Natasha Akpoti is the one line, we should know by proper investigation. Not everybody flaring up and trying to defend and attack and all of these things. And the number 3 in governance in Nigeria, the Senate President occupies the number 3 position. The President, the Vice President, and then the Senate President. And if the stature of the Senate President has been accused of being involved, that's something that should be swept under the carpet and everybody is emotional about it, including the accuser and the accused themselves. These are some of the issues. Now, Tinubu lays foundation for First Bank new eco-friendly HQ. And you can see the picture of that building there as well, somewhere the right bottom part of that front page of the Punch newspaper, quite iconic one. I must say. And from there, we move to The Nation. The Nation newspaper has something similar as well, almost the same thing there, the groundbreaking ceremony and the project there. You see Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu, Lord First Bank on new headquarters take have quite a momentum situation there. All right, and that will be it this morning on the newspaper segment. But then, just like I said, you can look at YouTube channel, where we are live right now, and drop your comments. Let's have your take on this matter. It's one that should get anybody worried, And now, there are angles and narratives to that. There are many persons who have taken these from the angle of men versus women, men trying to, strangulate the voices of women and try to ride roughshod over them and saying that they don't have a voice. Now, in the Senate, as we currently have, we have 109 seats. And at this 10th National Assembly, we only have 4 of them as women, 109 seats. That means 105 seats belong to men and only 4 are women. And out of the 4 is Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, Senator Eritiki Ngibe, that of the Labour Party representing the FCT, the good people of the FCT, and 2 others. Now, Senator Eritiki Ngibe has come out to say the way and manner that Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan went about that issue is not right, and that is not the way to go about it. And she sees her as a daughter. Though many persons have frowned at her to say, "Excuse you, how old are you? How old is Natasha?" And by the way, that is not a house for mother-daughter relationship. Excuse you. But by the way, she has a reason for saying that. She's elderly, and she will see as a younger person that needs mentoring. You should have come to them, people like them, to seek for possibly counsel on how to go about that instead of coming to the media to lay it bare such a grievous accusation as well. Now, a former senator, Senator Itagiwa from Cross River, Cross River State, former senator, spoke on the matter as well and said the accusation, will make her to look like a weakling. You don't do that. Not because she can't speak her mind, but she said, when you're in the Senate, you have passed the stage of being sexually harassed. That's a very strong seat there. And you should not even put yourself out there as somebody that can be, that such a pass can be made out, because they should see you as a strong woman. And if any man is coming, in fact, what she said was that former senator, Itagiwa, to say, politicians joke a lot, they talk a lot, make all kinds of jokes, they touch a lot. So if it's just about that, you can't say that as sexual harassment, because politicians will do what they will do rather. But you should hold a front bold enough. And she said she used to see herself in Natasha like a younger Itagiwa, vocal, fierce, strong, independent lady, and that such a thing should have been handled better. That when you get to that point, why she's not saying that what Natasha Akpoti has said is a lie, she's saying that you taking that to be sexual advances, can be in fact to be you appearing like a weakling, which you are not. So you should not take that, oh, somebody is making passes at me. He said, the person who you're accusing, or yourself or any other person, you are all senators, big people in that right. You are no more a weakling. You are no more just one girl aspiring for office. You are past that stage which men can make passes at you. You should be strong enough and let everybody know this is a senator. And that's what she was trying to say on that news program. And she was asked, actually, that if passes were made at her, are you telling her to keep quiet? She said she's not saying that. But what she's saying is the kind of front that you present should not give anybody anything She said nobody has ever made a pass at her because you can't try it, you don't try. And that is what she's saying about her. And the women should not be seen still as, that kind of a person that anybody can just rub anything on. She has her reasons as well. Many Nigerians have refuted her. From that position of former Senator Etagiwa as well, to say anybody can make a pass at anybody. And the moment you find it offensive, you should be encouraged to speak up, not to swallow it and feel so that because I don't appear as a weakling, I shall not speak my truth on this matter. But there's a lot in the new course. We will talk about it. But we'll go on this quick break right now. When we return, the program will continue, and it's going to be a dynamic one today. The issue of education is a very special one in any society, any group, community, state, nation, countries of the world, globally, is one that nobody jokes with. But now, when you see some situation that will make you to counter or interrogate the decision of some policymakers that appears to affect education, then one will talk about it and trust us to look into these matters and more. And we had a sit down, with some stakeholders on these issues. But then I will let you into that when we come back from this break. It's still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Just like I said, if you're watching us right now, drop your view about the handling of this Natasha Akpotiuduaghan, Senator Akpabio, as this fiasco at the National Assembly. We'll look into that before the program will continue. For now, we'll go on a break.